There's a shed in Pickup County, land of cows and cork oak trees, where an old Dutchman settled down. In a workshop he feels at ease, a place where junk turns into beauty, and old stuff is part of the inventory, where there's time for a smoke and coffee, while a slow pace completes the story. There's no harm in making sawdust, resulting in some craftsman's pride, success and fail shared for all to see, while entertainment and learning collide. Not just sawdust, not just sawdust, not just sawdust.
How do you start a YouTube video after a long period of silence? How do you explain the reasons behind the long break from making videos and from social media as a whole? Maybe I have to start at the beginning, which might be several years ago. The small group of subscribers who reacted to almost every video in the past might know the story about the workshop on the Lonesome Hill in central Portugal and how it became a place of creative production. A few years ago, however, we felt the need to relocate and move away from the region that would traditionally be on fire in the summer months. Too often a bushfire had threatened our home, and although we were lucky, it was a stressful experience to have an evacuation suitcase with all your important paperwork standing next to the door, ready for when such a situation might occur. We sold our home, the recording studio and the workshop, and we moved to an area where the risk of bushfires is almost non-existent, the eastern Alentejo. Close to the Spanish border seemed a good option. We found a nice place with an old shed in the backyard, and as well as our creativity, our energy seemed to gradually return. With renewed spirit, we made the Alentejo house into a home, and the drive to turn that old shed into a functioning workshop kept me going for a while. I had done it before, so I was convinced I could do it again. I made several videos about the new workshop, but at some point came the inconvenient realization that changing the scenery by itself isn't enough to get yourself out of a spiral of physical and mental problems. As a matter of fact, ignoring them only made things worse. It is still a bit of a taboo, especially in my generation, where the mindset is focused on getting over it and not talking about it. Just do your job and it will all be alright. Well, spoiler alert, it doesn't. Next to the physical problems like frozen shoulders that sometimes make you lose control over your grip, and the constant fatigue that comes with that, for some unknown reason things also changed in my brain. Small problems became big problems and even led to panic. A broken down car, a flaw in some electrical device, or even an appointment with a government employee could lead to a complete breakdown. When all the normal encounters of yearly routines were already little hills to climb because of cultural differences and linguistic barriers, they now became mountains that blocked the horizon. This last autumn I decided to take a break from it all. I didn't post much on my social media accounts other than just to give a sign of life. I didn't react in my flourishing and ironic style to the often political, grotesque posts in my timeline and Yes, I stopped making videos and didn't set foot in the workshop for months actually. In the past, I wrote a blog called A Big Flourishing Depression, a compilation of my bluesy thoughts, short stories, videos, poems, columns, trying to cope with my mindset. From as early as my teenage years, with humor, irony and sarcasm. To be honest, I thought I had outgrown that longing for rainy days, winter, the blues and the exploration of the dark side of my mind. I never thought it would actually catch up with me, but here I was, living with real moments of panic whenever a problem needed to be solved. The winter turned out to be a challenge worldwide because of rapidly changing climate, both literally and metaphorically, but also in our little village. Although we only had a few streets flooded with muddy water, while complete regions in Portugal looked like a war zone after the severe storms, it reminded us that being safe from the literal extremes of the weather is never guaranteed, as well as many people on this planet have already suffered from the iron hailstorms set upon them by a few self-declared messiahs with a dictator syndrome. As an atheist, I never thought I would be standing with the Pope, although all those religious symbols made out of gold could easily pay for a safe haven for the war and climate change refugees all over the world. As a content creator, a name that doesn't really apply to someone who just makes videos about creative activities in a small workshop, it seems to be a rule that you have to keep up with an upload schedule. Big breaks are said to have a negative impact on the number of viewers and subscribers, on the algorithm. But I never made YouTube videos to monetize or to become famous. The camera is just that other pair of eyes that stimulates me to keep going, to come up with creative solutions, and that worked pretty well over a few hundred videos. The small group of regular viewers who responded made me feel good about what I did. And with some of them, it even went further than just regular contact on YouTube or other social media platforms. So taking a break from that, although it really wasn't a voluntary decision, felt like a bit of betrayal. I have come to realize, however, that I'm not alone in this. For me, it's the dark side that has been traveling with me my whole life, that took away the energy and with it the creativity. But there are so many reasons why this can happen. Sometimes suddenly, sometimes slowly creeping over a long period, where others often sense that something isn't right before you realize it yourself. A few content creators on YouTube that I follow and kept watching even though I wasn't uploading any videos myself, were a big help in coming to terms with my situation. They talked about the elephant in the room openly and shared their thoughts and struggles on the subject of mental health or getting stuck in the process of degrading creativity. I will blend in a few quotes here and put a link to their videos below. They obviously seem to find the right words to address such situations.
Today is sharpening day. It's a day to slow down, reset and reflect. 12 months ago, I almost lived in my workshop. Woodworking and filming YouTube videos is how I preferred to spend my time, and I was content. 9 months ago, I became a dad for the first time, and the birth of my little girl made me the happiest I've ever been. 6 months ago, I suffered a mental breakdown. My world fell apart, and I was diagnosed with postnatal depression and anxiety. 3 months ago, after getting some professional help, as part of my recovery, I reached out to a group of maker friends, and together we started filming a video documenting my experiences as a new dad living with PND. Last month, after weeks of editing and building up the courage to share such a personal story on the internet, I released a video into the community with a simple message to those who might be going through similar experiences to me. You are not alone.
creative burnout is a real thing, but it's also really hard to talk about because people have real jobs where they have to do real hard physical labor. And that's, you know, my parents did that. And they didn't complain about work. I mean, everybody complains about work, but they just did their jobs, you know? So for me to talk about creative burnout, which I am definitely feeling right now, seems petty and not worth discussing. But, you know, it's just one of the things that I am personally struggling with, trying to do something creative every single week. What can I do to lighten that burden? Because I love my job. I love making these videos. I love making videos just as much as I love making projects.
It's been about 3 months since my last video, and if I'm being honest with you, I wasn't sure when I was going to come back. But these two pallets, they dragged me back. My name is Dainty, and this is what's been going on. Okay, before I tell you about the pallets, I need to be completely honest with you about something first. I'm going to call myself out, because here's the truth. It wasn't just life getting in the way. Life is always in the way. That's not new. What was actually stopping me was something a lot more uncomfortable than the rain, or the busy day job, or the software issues. It was me. I was stopping me.
As for my future on YouTube, well, I will make videos again. Whether there will be one every week, I can't predict right now. When there's a project, I will film it, interesting or not, because like I said, the camera is just that extra set of eyes that represents you, the one who's watching this video, and the stimulants to start and finish a project. Some will just be a few alterations and repairs around the house, but I do have some crazy creative projects lined up. I just need to slowly grow into it again. As for the project that I helped my friend Caesar with, and you are watching some footage here, well, it's kind of hard to explain what we are actually making. To put it simple, we are making the interior of the car suitable to stack all his cigar box guitars, equipment and selling booth, while at the same time it stays a normal family car. In fact, also suitable to sleep free. You could call it a second floor, completely foldable and storable in the car, while there's still place for 5 people. So there was a lot of sorting out with hinges and folding legs that were height adjustable. In the end, it seems it's going to work out. When you go to markets or festivals, you don't want to unload your merchandise first, and then after that the tent, the tables and all this other gear. The system seems to solve that problem.
Well, it's 40 in the shade and 50 in the shed. We're baking up ideas with sweat running down our heads. Last month we cursed the rain, now we're praying for a cloud. Ain't no pleasing humans, we just grumble out loud. Got them siesta blues from noon to 5:30. Ain't no two gonna move while I'm trying to stay alive. So we dream and we draw till the moon makes its rounds. That's when the magic happens, when the heat dies down. Mornings for the thinkers, nights for the brave, middays for lying flat and hoping you behave. That sun's a cruel foreman, cracking down on our plans, but we still saw and hammer with these two sweaty hands. Yeah, them siesta blues got me humming in my sleep, while the glue set slow and the silence runs deep. In this oven of ideas, we roast and refine. Creativity's cooked slow, but it sure tastes fine. Cold rain got us moaning, now we beg for a breeze. Can't win with the weather, it's a long game of tease, but the wood still whispers, the nails still know that even in the furnace, inspiration grows. Them siesta blues, yeah, they're part of the deal. With a cold drink in hand and a fan on your heel, come dawn or dusk, we'll make beauty from pain. Just don't ask us to move in the midday flame. Now if you need us at high noon, you'll find us.
So thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to follow me along, and if you want to support my way back into the game, consider a Patreon membership. See you hopefully during the next video. At the logo.